right. Welcome to the relationship codes.
What's up?
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy
Uh,
Wednesday.
yeah, so I'm here with my girl Kasha B again. I like hanging out and doing podcast and training and
Hmm.
just collaborations together. And so our goal really with the relationship codes is to really expose decoding patterns and principles and for personality, temperament, success, whether it's personal or whether it's relationship. And so we have a proven system. I've practiced it for more than 21 years. I've got amazing results. Clients I work with, people I coach with, it's great. I have a great marriage. We have great relationships. It's just beautiful to this particular tool. And so,
Hmm.
Kasha, I want to start off with last week we did talk about the blue and the
Yep.
green temperament, which are opposites.
Yes.
This week, we're going to talk about the gold and the orange temperament. But
Hmm.
before we talk about the gold and the orange temperament, we had a homework assignment
Yep.
that we put out as a challenge to our audience, as well as we did the assignment ourselves. I
Hmm.
got this assignment from a marriage retreat that I went to. And basically, we had to write down 25 things that we appreciated, a list of 25 things that made our spouse great.
Hmm.
If you might not be married, what's 25 things that made your boyfriend or your girlfriend great?
Hmm.
And so when I did my list for my wife, I got probably all the way up to 18.
Hmm.
And then I had to think. So you take 24 hours and you put this list together and you share it with your spouse. And so she got to 8 and started struggling. I was like, what's going on with her? So she only got to 8. What's up? We're supposed to do
Right.
25.
Right.
But she eventually got there. And so that that
Yes.
that that was a good thing. And so
Right. That's good.
right. So what did you think about that assignment?
It was tough. I mean, when you think about um 25 things, you're like, okay, I've been with this person for X number of years, or it's things I like about them and things that make them great. But you do have to really go into a deep reflection, after a while. It's
Right.
not, you can start off and you kind of do rattle off some aspects at the beginning, then you like the deeper you start thinking, it takes a little bit of time, right? So I'm still
Right.
working on mine. Nothing to knock, Rich, but I'm still
Right.
I'm still working on it.
Right. Well, we're surrounded by so much negativity about relationships
Mhm.
that we don't know, or we've been numb to all of the positive ways to pursue a healthy relationship, to develop a healthy relationship. We've been surrounded by music, shows, movies, just in our own circle. The negativity is so great that it has numbed people on how to really care for and partner with people to create powerful and dynamic type of successes. And so
Mhm.
mine was really good, but we also had 3 things that we could do that would make our partner, that would help our partner to level up or to be great.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, did you come across one thing that if you did or that you need to do more of that would
Mhm.
help your husband just be even a greater man that he already is?
Yeah, absolutely. So he's a green temperament,
Okay.
similar to you. I don't. I want him to do this assessment so I can kind of see how he flows through with his colors. But
Okay.
one thing that I can do is maybe um, challenge him a little bit more. So a lot of times I'll listen to the like if we have something we're trying to work through or kind of listen through it, and as a blue primary blue harmony. I don't like conflict. So my but I think challenging a person, not in a negative, but like to get through a thought process or come to a decision, or if you're trying to do a project or something, just challenging that person can help them go further, and
Yes.
just to maybe develop more skills that they may want to develop, or see certain things that they may have blind spots within, so just I
Yes.
think for me, I can probably challenge him a little bit more instead of kind of going with the flow as I
Right.
typically would do.
Right now, I will tell you this, being a green temperament, we would love that because
Mm,
we respond to not only that we're men and we love solving problems, but green temperaments love to execute and implement knowledge and skills and systems and strategies would be our
mhm,
key word that's
mhm,
going to help eliminate problems or to help bring in increase into our relationships.
mhm,
And so that is very motivating when we have people that say, well, how would you do this? Well, did you
mhm,
look that up? Well, what do you think about this? Well, if you
mhm.
did this step, where do you think it will be 10 years down the line? Where do you think it would be 5 years? And really
Right.
kind of help us to think through because we're thinkers.
Mhm.
And so we have a lot that's on our head. Now, the
Yeah.
one thing that I would do for
Mhm.
my wife is a gold. Her primary temperament is gold.
Mhm.
And so she sees those steps that's directly in front of her.
Right.
And so one thing I do to help her is I say, okay, here's where you want to be. And then I help her reverse engineer it
Mhm.
down to the few steps. So then she knows what step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would look like.
Right.
And it works really well because she's a checklist person.
Mhm.
Speaking of gold temperaments
Yep.
and the orange temperament, which is what we're going to talk about right now,
Mhm.
before I talk about that gold temperament, but that was the one thing I could do
Yeah.
to help her be great.
Yep.
But which one of those you want me to talk about first?
Go ahead and do the gold, because you have a story that you can
Yes,
kind of complement with some blind spots that you have picked up
exactly.
as a
Okay,
green that she can help you with as a gold.
exactly. So um my wife is a gold temperament. Now, gold temperaments overall, you're very organized, very detailed, very structured. They follow the
Mhm.
rules. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Mhm.
And they are step by step people. In my house, my wife is gold. Look, everything's got a place, and a
Mhm.
place for a place has
Mhm.
a thing in it. And so I said, "Baby, where's the extension cord?" She goes, "Well, it's in the purple thing by it's in the purple cadenza by in the gray box on top of the black." And I was just like, that was just too much for me.
Right. You're looking at your phone like it's what? Okay. Okay.
Right.
I located that.
Exactly.
Okay. I
Exactly.
located
But
that.
those are those things that's directly in front of me that's hard
Right.
for me to see.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get frustrated sometimes looking for those things that's directly in front of me. But that's the gift of the gold temperament.
Mm-hmm.
They can put things together, they can help organize things. They're committed, they're loyal. You can depend on them.
Mm-hmm.
Just really great, just great.
Yeah.
And I think on your assessment,
Mm-hmm.
your primary blue and your secondary gold
Mm-hmm.
was
By a
tied.
percentage, or it was like either identical, like
Yeah.
percentages, or it was like one. Yeah, it's identical,
Yep.
17 to
Identical.
17.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so what happens is our primary and secondary is what we will always see the most in people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we use our secondary just as much as we use our primary. We always switch back and forth between them. That's why you don't use an assessment that just focuses on your primary,
Mm-hmm.
because God gave you a whole bunch of gifts and talents. And so we got to learn how to use them. We have to learn how to master them. We have to learn how to cultivate them. But in order to be able to do that, you have to have somebody to train you on those.
Right.
Because if not, we'll default to all of the garbage we heard, all of the garbage we saw on television, the
Mm-hmm.
reality shows, all the mess that's on social media platforms,
Yeah.
all of the failed relationships around us.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to come out amongst that. And so that's just a little bit about the gold temperament. The other
Mm-hmm.
temperament is the or did we do orange?
No, we're about to do orange right now.
Okay.
That's I
So the,
dressed for it. Got orange. We
yeah,
ready.
there you go. Bam. There you go.
I
I
color
see you.
coordinated.
Right, color coordinated. Right, right. So that orange temperament, that's your outside the box thinkers. Look, they have
Mm-hmm.
ingenuity. They're your adventurous, your fun, your risk takers. They can take a licking and keep on ticking and keep moving forward. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you knock them down, they get right back up the quickest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have all of the energy, and they're just fun to be with. They can execute. They are your ride or die people or ride or
Mm-hmm.
live people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they roll really hard. Just a great temperament to
Yeah.
have. And so when you have all of these temperaments around you, you have them also in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Some you use more than you use others.
Right.
You might can only go to the show, but you can't go to the show, then go here, then go there, then go here. You ready to go home because you're
Right.
tired,
Yeah.
right? With your orange temperaments, they can go all day, every day.
Yeah. They have a lot of energy.
Yeah, 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 they can.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's your overall color spectrum that you
Mm-hmm.
have in there. You have a green, you have a blue, you have a gold, you have an orange. That's your opposite. And you flow throughout your spectrum every day, all
Mm-hmm.
day. So
Mm-hmm.
I,
All the
I have a quote.
situations.
Yeah, I know, right? So I have a quote
Mm-hmm.
in here. Actually, a couple of quotes. I may have mentioned them before, but it takes work to get to easy. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to work on your relationship skills. A lot of us don't have relationship skills.
Mm-hmm.
We have relationship survival
Mm-hmm.
because we don't necessarily know what we're doing in them. We know what we don't like.
Right.
We know what we think we want, but I don't think we articulate it really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to work to get the easy. And then the second thing I want to mention is that it takes concentrated information to break down your walls in order to make a change to your mindset or your situationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't have the right information, you really can't be successful. And then it's not taking it in one time.
Right.
You
It's
know, it is a
continuous work.
practice every single day, every
Absolutely.
single day. And
Yeah.
so let me ask you this one question.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing in your career that you have to do every day in order to be successful?
Um, Show up. I mean, you got to show up as your authentic self, and that's the key to what I do. You know, people do business with folks that they know, like, and trust, right? And so you can achieve those things by just being authentically you. And a matter of fact, that's one of the things my manager told me early on, you know, as we were um as I was hired in, as I started interacting with my customers, like, just be you. That's it. That's the key.
Right. And I think it's difficult to be you when you don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we see things, I want to do that, or I think I can do that, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not wired to do that. And so it
Right.
becomes harder work than what it really needs to be.
Agreed.
I want this thing they got going now. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what type of mess it is, but to me it's
Mm-hmm.
mess.
Yeah.
I want a high value man. Is that
I have not heard that.
oh my goodness.
What is that?
Look, it's
It used to be equally yoked, but now it's a high value man. I don't know what
exactly. They
that
want a high
means.
value man, and they not a high value person themselves.
Yeah, like
And,
what
and
does that entail?
so here's apparently what it's supposed to entail. If I got a high value man, he already has everything together, and he can just be
Mm,
a good provider. When I
hmm.
hear a person say they want a high value man, here's what I hear. I want a person who knows who they are and understand how to create success.
Right.
Because you can lose all your value. Let me
Yeah,
rephrase it. You
absolutely.
can
You can
lose all the
use all
things
your
that your value
monetary.
got. Right. You can
Right.
use all the stuff. But guess what? If you know
Mhm.
how to keep getting it, it doesn't
Right.
matter if you lose it. So you don't want
Yeah.
the value stuff. You want the characteristics that create
That
it.
comes with, you're right. That helps to
Exactly.
create
But a
it.
lot of they
Yeah.
don't communicate that, you
Yeah,
know.
that's so interesting. And one, I want to say one thing as we, audience, as you're watching and you, as we are chatting, throw things into the into the chat. Let us know. Throw us some messages in the live so that we can, answer any questions, whatever. So definitely comment, thumbs up. That's right, whatever.
That's
so,
right.
so
Let us
keep it.
know.
Yeah, let us know. But yeah, that's very interesting with the whole high value,
Right.
um and yes, that in all the aspects that you're talking about is it's the thing, the core of what it took to get to whatever you were trying to get to, that value, that if it's that monetary that you're seeing,
Right.
what did it take to get there? What will it take if it all goes away for them to recover?
Right.
Because it's a lot of it has to do in how you are able to react to certain situations, right? So if you're
Exactly.
just looking at the end point, what took it, what did it take to get there, you know?
Exactly. And a lot of people they don't really understand that
Hmm.
particular process. Just like men, we hunt, but
Hmm.
I'm not for sure we really know what to hunt.
Mm.
Well, we do, but that keeper, the one we want to put
Yeah.
a ring on,
Right.
we honestly we know who we want to marry.
Hmm.
And if we not approaching it like that, then you kind of a second place type of girl.
Right.
And so if they not talking about that, that's just because you didn't appear to be that one that they want to put a ring on from the very beginning.
Mm.
So they going to spend time with you, getting to know you. They going to go through the process. But let me tell you, men, we know when we want something, we ready to put a ring on it because
Hmm.
we not trying to
And,
let it go
right. And women
nowhere else
know.
or let
Yeah.
nobody else get in.
Right. Yeah.
You
Women know as well. Like we know when, because in a certain way we kind of control the board,
right,
right? And so women know who they're who they're looking for, but like we always talk about, we know the type of person we want to have a family with. When you talk about procreation, that's a in it, like the whole marriage thing. Yeah, that's there, but then looking forward, like, do I want to create life with this person?
right,
you
right.
know do I want to have that long term, relationship with that folks? So we know, um as we're going along, who the type of person that we kind of want. But for men and women, though, this assessment kind of helps you to really understand, um what it takes in order to build that solid foundation.
That's right.
And that's where it all comes to play, is that solid foundation.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And so one thing I want people to do is look, if you want an assessment, I got 3 different levels. I have a free version. I have one that costs $50, and then there's one that really you can get into that's a deeper dive. look, just put in the comment, personal assessment, and I'll make sure I get you that information. And in the meantime, next week when we come back, we are going to be talking about how you love.
Mm,
And each temperament loves in a different way. And that's important if you're dating to know the type of love that you'll get from a particular temperament.
mm-hmm,
Look, I scouted my wife. I designed her on paper. It was so good, and I attracted exactly what I designed on paper
mm-hmm,
that I created a program called The Wife I Designed. And
mm-hmm,
I believe you attract what you focus on and what you create. And if you attract and create something that's beautiful, and then you cover your blind spots, then you will attract exactly what you put on your paper. But this is
mm-hmm,
what this whole podcast and platform is going to be about, is how to create situations by working on yourself and by understanding personality temperaments.
mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Well, Kasha, look, that's our time. Look, make sure drop your questions in, just give us some thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want some
Share.
additional information, share it, please do, because we're trying to reach 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to keep families together. We want everybody to be happy. We want people to partner right so that they can produce right. All right. Other than that, hey, that's Relationship Avenues with the relationship codes. Hey, look, we'll see you next Wednesday.